You don't have to be afraid. God has great plans for you. This child is his way.
Welcome, all you sinners, back to my channel and time for another episode of Luke's Reviews. On today's video, a classic horror franchise is being revitalized over at the good folks at 20th Century Studios, which is now owned by Disney, meaning that Disney have essentially helped produce a film about the birth of the Antichrist. It's just wild to say aloud. This is the first Omen. Set a few years before the events of the original Omen from 1976, we find ourselves in early 70s Rome, as a young woman preparing herself to take her vows and join a convent begins to unearth a mystery and conspiracy surrounding a plot to bring about the birth of the Antichrist. The 1976 Omen, directed by Richard Donner, is regarded as a horror classic by many. But truth be told, having rewatched it prior to this film, I don't think it holds up, and it definitely hasn't aged all that well. There are some really iconic moments in it, and Jerry Goldsmith's score is sensational. But it is pretty clunky in places, it's too much of a slow burn for my liking, and I think you can also tell that horror doesn't come naturally to Richard Donner. But how does the first Omen fare? Well, going in, my expectations were actually quite high. I thought that the marketing of this film has been pretty solid. They put out a teaser trailer, one of the first glimpses that we had to this film, and it looked chilling. Everything was playing in reverse. It gave me legitimate goosebumps that I was like, oh damn, they might be doing something special here. Now, the first Omen does have the odd moment or two where everything just kind of gels together in the right way. But besides that, I found this prequel to be painfully bland and largely aimless. Seeing as I don't have a particular affinity for the original, the constant nods and winks to that original film became very grating. The deaths in this film are a carbon copy of what we have seen previously. It felt unoriginal, and I'm sat there wanting this film to embrace its own spirit. And speaking of unoriginality, the story goes through the motions of similar twisted convent stories that we've seen time and time again. You only have to actually look a couple of weeks ago, and Sydney Sweeney starred in a film called Immaculate about a similar-ish thing. A woman winds up pregnant through immaculate conception, but what is she really giving birth to, and can she escape the twisted cult that is keeping her captive? That film, though, whilst it does plod along with a very worn narrative, impresses at least with the direction and the performances. The performances in the first Omen are a bit of a mixed bag. You've got some unbelievable pedigree in this film. The likes of Charles Dance, Bill Nighy, and Ralph Ineson. That is a holy trinity that you do not turn your nose up. But their characters are so thin that the roles themselves, they can't do anything of interest really with them. And so much of the film rests on the shoulders of Nell, who plays this young nun who is investigating what is going on. And similar to Sweeney, it's a very physically and emotionally demanding performance that also gets, like Sweeney, one unbroken take where she is just going feral. Free is good, but for long portions, her character has very little interest about her. So it quickly becomes difficult to invest in her situation. The first Omen is also plagued with useless jump scares. Lazy, feeble attempts to jolt us from our seat through loud noises without a single drop of tension to build it. Now, the first Omen does manage to find its stride in the final 15-20 minutes, and boy does it go balls to the wall mental for that final act. They take some huge swings And they do mostly pay off. It's very disturbing. It's gross. It pushes that 15 age rating to its limits. I'm genuinely surprised that this wasn't an 18. But regardless, that final act is impressive. I wish that they had stuck with that tone more throughout the film, because it is such an entirely different beast to what we have seen previously in this film, but also to Donna's original. However, the actual final scene undoes a lot of the hard work that the final act did by twisting the lore needlessly and also laying the groundwork for a sequel in the most banal way imaginable. All in all, the first Omen was a swing and a miss for me. Nell Tiger Free gives a committed performance that impresses given how underwritten her character actually is. The rest of the ensemble all turn up for an easy payday, and I can't blame them for it. The use of horror is a varied one. The consistently annoying and mundane jump scares had me rolling my eyes, whilst the tormented finale had me asking why weren't they doing this in the first place. Even with a modern lick of paint, I'm still yet to be impressed by a film in the Omen series. I'm going to give the first Omen a 4 out of 10. Anyway, guys, those are my thoughts on the first Omen. Let me know, have you had a chance to see the film yet? What did you think? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And my question to you, I would like to know, what do you think is the best religious horror movie? That is all the time we have for today, so thank you very much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you
In the next video.
Hello, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, make sure to click that like button, and if you aren't already, click that subscribe button too.